Well, Happy New Year, friends. We're here at the Tournament of Roses house here in Pasadena, California, where over the last 120 years we've had the Rose Bowl parade and the Rose Bowl game, yes? So I'm gonna take a look at the house with you, and I'm gonna go over a mindset on how to have the best next year, yes? So walk with me. By the way, in the background, in a moment, you're going to see right over here, this is the Tournament of Roses house. Beautiful, gorgeous house. And what they have is the queen, the Rose Bowl queen. And they have the Rose Bowl game coming up. So right now we're here at New Year's. And I want to have a quick chat with you about what to do in New Year's. Would you agree that we've got to take some kind of reflection, accounting of the year? We've got to learn from this past year. We've got to step up our game and have an even better year next year, yes? Whether it's creating more abundance in our life, whether it's making more money, whether it's having even better relationships, even more happiness, we've got to step up our game, yes? Especially if you're a leader, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a sales professional, if you're in real estate, if you're in financial services, or even if you're in multi-level marketing. Would you agree that there's a part of us that always wants to be even more of who we really are, to do even more, to have even more? So I'm gonna have you come up these gorgeous steps with me, and we're gonna take a moment and have a breakthrough today, yes? What we're gonna do is we're going to explore what to do. Very first thing I'm gonna have us do before I give you the 5 steps, we're gonna have 5 steps we're gonna learn today that's going to have us become even better for next year. First thing we gotta do over Thanksgiving, we were grateful, yes? Gratitude for our relationships, our family members. Over Christmas, we also had a moment where we did gift giving, we spent time with our families, and now we're coming into New Year's, and with New Year's, we wanna do reflection. We want to create even better results next year. So I'm going to share with us 5 steps. Step 1, okay? So step 1 is we're going to begin sandwich feedback. So what is sandwich feedback? Sandwich feedback is starting with what worked, the positive, then taking a look at what didn't work or could be improved. Not necessarily it's negative, it just could be better. And then overall what we did good. So we're starting off on a positive note. We're learning from the challenges that we faced on how we can overcome those challenges. And then we're getting to overall what was good. Then I'm going to be sharing with you steps 4 and steps 5, which are going to be magnificent. So let's start with step 1. I want you to think of 3 things that worked in the past year. Now, if you want, you can pause the video and do this right now, or if you want, you can just allow the video to go through, learn all the 5 steps, and then at your leisure at some time today or tomorrow, then you can do the 5 steps. So I'll leave that up to you. You could pause the video with me now. If you're gonna pause the video, you would be doing it now. And if you're not, you just watch all the way through. So the very first step is, what were the 3 things that worked over the past 12 months? And why did they work? What specifically about them is the reason why you said they worked? Maybe it was a strategy that you followed in your business that was more effective, that brought in more leads, that made more money. Maybe it was the door knocking, that if you're doing any kind of prospecting, which most people in entrepreneurial business or in sales are prospecting. Maybe it was door knocking that worked, or maybe it was the calls that worked, or maybe it was being accountable to yourself that worked. Maybe it was whatever it was, the 3 top things that worked. Go and pause the video if you want to do it now. And if you haven't paused the video, I'm just going to continue. That's step 1. Step 2 is what could be improved. What didn't work? What did not work that could be improved? For example, let's say the prospecting, the approach that you used wasn't effective. Or let's say that you were committed, but then things got in the way, or distractions got in the way, life got in the way, family got in the way, whatever it was, things got in the way and took you off track. So what did not work, or what could be improved? Maybe it's the focus. Maybe it's the, like one of our amazing students, and also a tremendous success, Marty Rodriguez. She says Marty Rodriguez is the #1 agent in the history of the Century 21 system. Over 30 years, the #1 agent in that whole brand. She says, I'm like she says, I don't dream when I'm asleep, I dream when I'm awake. She says, I'm like a racehorse with blinders on. I go, go, go. I don't see any of the distractions. I'm like a racehorse with my blinders on. She's focused. She doesn't allow anything to take her off track. So that's just an example that's very common for people. They get distracted by life and things. So what didn't work? So I'm going to ask you then the 3 things that you feel did not work or could be improved. You can answer that now, or you can pause this video, think about it a little bit, and jot these things down. Awesome. So I'm going to go to the 3rd step now. 3rd step is overall what was good. Right? So overall, even with the challenges, the things that showed up in the year, overall what was good. Right? It's very important that we always reflect on the positive side of every situation. So even if last year sucked for some people, like last year was a terrible year, you've got to find the seeds of opportunity in it. You've got to find a way of looking at it in a way that empowers you. Even if it taught you lessons, even painful lessons, they're still lessons, right? To channel those lemons to lemonade, to to take those challenges and problems and blocks and to turn them into opportunities for growth. So again, what were the 3 things that that you would say overall were good about the year? Okay? So that's the very first 3 steps. Now, step 4 is really exciting. Step 4, if you've ever seen the movie The Secret, right, with Bob Proctor, Michael Beckwith, Jack Canfield, some of my early mentors, they talk about this thing called the law of attraction. Have you ever heard of that, right? The law of attraction, which really relates to the law of vibration. And I'm going to ask you, what are the last 6 letters of the word attraction? I asked that to someone someday and they said, attraction. I said, no. The last 6 letters of the word attraction is not attraction. It's action, right? Action. A-C-T-I-O-N. Action. What does that say? That says really that the law of attraction responds to action. Responds to the person that takes action. I remember, I think it was Bob Proctor that said that in The Secret. You gotta take action. The person that sits at home on the couch that's hoping that their dream soulmate is gonna show up crashing through the ceiling and land right on the couch next to them, it's not gonna happen. That person knows that they have to get out there, meet people, right? Same thing with business. You can't just expect results to come through the roof while you're sitting on the couch flipping the TV station. You've got to get out there and meet people. You got to take action. You got to put yourself in a position where opportunity can meet you because you've gone. Remember, we talk about we're co-creators. I'm a creator of my experience of reality. You're a creator of your experience of reality. And we also have our higher power. So no matter what higher power you believe in, right? You're co-creators, right? The universe is creating and conspiring to your advantage, and you're conspiring to your own advantage, and we meet at the middle. Why and how? Because we take action. So, it's about taking action. I want to introduce a concept to you, which you probably have heard before, maybe you haven't heard it before, and it is called the Pareto principle. You may have heard of it, yes? Pareto principle, also called the 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule, and please take notes, 80-20 rule says that 80% of our results will come from 20% of our effort. 80% of our results will come from 20% of our effort. What does that mean? 80% of your success in your business is going to come from the area, that fine-tuned area where you are most effective. It's not going to come from the areas where you are ineffective. 80% of our results will come from where you were most effective, that 20% area. One could say also in offices, let's say if someone's a broker owner, you have 100 agents, usually of all the transactions that office has closed for that year, 80% of those transactions have been closed by the top 20% of those agents. Make sense? So even from a broker owner standpoint, 20% of the agents produce 80% of the closed transactions. If you're not a broker owner, if you're an agent, you may think of it this way. 80% of my results comes from 20% of my marketing efforts. 20% of my clients, the clients that are ready to take action, right? What this also reveals is the flip side of that. If 80% of my results are coming from 20% of my efforts, that also means somehow that 20% of my results is coming from my 80% of my efforts. Think about that. 20% of results is coming from my 80% of my efforts. What does that mean? That means I'm spending 80% of my time doing something and it's yielding me this much. And I'm spending only 20% of my time doing this other thing, the effective thing, and that's producing 80% of my results. So as you look at that, I want you to understand that, because when we look back at the last year, the last 12 months, what was the time wasters, right? We also work with the trimetrics, which is the behavioral assessments. And based upon taking a little online assessment, it prints out a 60-page report about you. And one of the things it lists is exactly what you do that wastes time, that costs you money, that doesn't allow for you to spend quality time with your family because they're time wasters. So step 4 is, when you know the Pareto principle, how do we focus our energy all into that 20% area where we were most effective? How do we take away from this 80% time wasters and channel all this energy into the area where we are most effective? So I want you to start thinking about that. So if you're going to think of what's worked and what was effective and what didn't work and what was ineffective, you're going to start to think of, how do I take this time and energy that I'm dissipating away here, and how do I channel it right here into that most effective area that produces the highest results? Okay? All right, so that's step 4. Step 5. With the things that did not work. If you've ever heard Tony Robbins talk, any other amazing coaches as well, there is a concept, a statement, and it goes like this. With things that did not work, or that things that do not work, either change your perception or change your procedure. With things that don't work, either change your perception or change your procedure. Changing my perception is changing my mindset around it, and changing my procedure is doing a different behavior, or doing the behavior that we're doing in a slightly different way. So let me give you a little insight into that. The very first one, which is change my perception. I want you to imagine you have a son or a daughter, and they're about to play a game, any game, in a competition. They're about to get in a baseball game, and they're about to swing at bat, to swing to hit the ball. And if your child, boy or girl, had failed in the last 2 or 3 attempts, and you're the parent, what would you say to your child? Would you say to your child, oh no, you just missed the last 3-4 shots, probably you're gonna have a challenge, or you're not good at this, or what's wrong? No, you're probably not gonna say that. You're gonna say, wait a minute, son or daughter, you can do this. Wrap your head around this. Have a different perception. See yourself hitting that ball way out of that park. Because you know that when you project as a parent, right, onto your child, that no matter if they've missed before, that they can do it, the child is going to begin to believe in themselves. They're going to begin to believe in themselves, and they're going to swing in a different way with that belief. So if you do that with your child, guess what? You got to do that with yourself. Change your perception. If you've had challenges in your life, and if you're coaching yourself through it, change your perception of yourself in this situation, and you'll start to see when you swing, you'll swing and you'll hit that ball out of the park, right? So when things are not working, change your perception or change your procedure. The second part of it, change your procedure, means do something different, or do the same thing you're doing but in a different way, right? Doing things in a certain way, in a different way. This ties into a law called the law of requisite variety. which basically says the person with the most amount of flexibility, or the situation that has the greatest amount of flexibility, has the most power. So you may have heard of this: flexibility is power. The most flexible person is the person that has the most power. So what we're saying is, when we say if something's not working, change your perception or change your procedure, we're saying be flexible. Find a way to do the same thing in a slightly different way, or find a way to do something different that will create a different result, right? So you got to start looking at what you're doing. Is it working? Give it some time to see if it's working. If it's not working, change your approach. Some people are good at door knocking. Some people are good at cold calling. Some people are good at networking. Some people get more leads and more business by any form of marketing strategy that is more effective. So change your perception, change your procedure, and continue to switch it up, change it up, till you start finding you're getting results, aren't you? Yes, yes. So that's step 5. Now, let's recap the 5 steps, okay? Step 1 is, what are the 3 things that worked in the last 12 months, and why did they work? Step 2 is, what were the 3 things that didn't work, and why did they not work? Right? That's where the lessons come in, right? Step 3 is, overall, what was good? So start to store what happened in the last year through the pair of lens and through the looking of the positivity of it, as opposed to the negativity of it, because negativity will not serve moving into the next year. Make sense? Step 4 is about action. Remember the law of action, right? Action. You want to amplify. Remembering the Pareto principle, what were the 20% of efforts that yielded the 80% results? You want to put your focus, your magnifying lens on that, right? You want to focus your energy on that 20% of efforts that yielded the 80% results. And you want to take back your power away from all these time wasters. This area where you dissipated 80% of your time, energy, resources, and didn't get the results you wanted. You want to take that, and you want to take that time and energy, and you want to focus it in the area that you're most effective, right? So this is going to mean something different for everybody. Only you know. You got to look and reflect on that, the Pareto principle. So step 4 is about taking action by focusing your energy in the area where you've been most effective and amplifying that. Think of a magnifying lens, focusing the rays of sun that's you in the most effective area, shining the light on the most effective area. And step 5 is, as you remember, of the things that did not work, either change your perception or change your procedure, do something different. So that's the 5 steps. And I've got one bonus step, yes? The bonus step is, if you've ever also, yes, seen the movie The Secret, right? I think it was John DeMartini. He said, whatever you think about and thank about, you bring about. Whatever you think about and thank about, you bring about. So it's actually gratitude. The gratitude is what attracts to you good things. The more grateful you are about what you have in your life, the more you will attract more things to be grateful for. Make sense? It's the law. It's actually the law of vibration, right? A grateful person attracts to them more things to be grateful about. And the person that's negative, pessimistic, usually attracts more negative people. Birds of a feather flock together. So gratitude, you've got to be in a state of gratitude. Okay, I invite you, because we're now entering the new year, I invite you, if you've been to one of our workshops, you know how absolutely amazing it is. You know, we've got people that have doubled their income 3 times in the course of our 1-year program, doubled their income, and then doubled it again, and then doubled it again. So if you've been at one of our programs, you know how amazing they are. And the question for you is, when is now the time for you to take it to the next level? We have an N.L.P. Road to Mastery program where you become a master of influence, master of communication, a master behavioralist. You create a master life. And then if you haven't been to one of our programs and you want to learn and grow, you've got to sharpen your tools, yes? We invite you to give us a call or inbox us. And if you want to give us a call, you can do that on the number I'm going to be providing you in a moment. Invite us to come and do a 2-hour workshop for your group, for your office, for your organization. In that 2-hour workshop, what we're going to do is we're going to study neuro-linguistic programming, N.L.P, the study of human excellence. We're going to learn how to be an even better leader. We're going to learn how to be an even better communicator. We're going to learn how to walk our talk. And when we say we're going to do something, we do something. We're going to learn how to make more money, become even more magnificent, have an even better relationship with ourselves and with life in general. And if you don't have a group and you're just flying solo, maybe you and your partner, that's fine too. Inbox us or give us a call, because we can invite you to one of the workshops we already have on the schedule in the month of January or the month of February. So the question is, when is now the time? When is now the time for you, for I, for we, for all of us to be who we were destined to be, to do what we have the power to do, and to truly have what we deserve to have in our life? When is now the time? Would you agree it's now? Yes? Absolutely. Absolutely. So you can call us at toll-free 1-844-PURE-NLP, 1-844-PURE-NLP, which is 844-787-3657. You can find us on YouTube. We've got a whole bunch of videos and all of the testimonials, success stories, which are absolutely amazing, under KR Success Coaching. And I look forward to seeing you rock it in the next year. And by sharpening your tools, by becoming an even better leader, communicator, entrepreneur, sales professional, you know that you can take your results to the next level. Awesome. Thank you for your time. Congratulations for going through this process, for learning from, embracing the year that's passed, and turning your energy and focusing on the year that's coming, which will be absolutely the best year of your life. Let's make it happen. See you soon.